was mine, girl, I would drink your bad water.
Let's start with your mother. Your mother got the receipts. Everything is in your mother's name. That's the one who got the receipts.
I would say Puff Mama really run the show, my opinion. But hey, who am I? But I know what I know. Yeah, she run the show.
Now that's my hero right there. Ain't nobody like your mama. I give all thanks and glory to God.
Mother Mase is officially preparing to sue Janice Combs for stealing millions from bad boy artists, and he just dropped receipts that could take Diddy's entire bloodline down. Now, most of you already know that Mase was calling this years ago before anyone even looked twice at Janice.
They sign paperwork so they can't talk about what I'm talking about. I'm the only one.
But Mase isn't standing alone in this, and other former bad boy employees are now backing him up with their own horror stories about Janice. Freddie P said Janice is literally the devil.
She is his. I can't even explain it, bro. She just ain't no, she the devil, bro. That's how I see it. She the devil. Janice Combs is the devil.
Chopper accused Janice of still holding on to his publishing.
But yeah, my publishing is Janice Combs, Diddy Mama.
And then former president of Bad Boy Kirk Burroughs filed his own lawsuit against Janice for illegally seizing his stake in Bad Boy. But if you think this is just about stolen money, you're not ready for how dark this actually gets, because what Janice was doing inside that house was way sicker than her financial schemes. Did you know Janice started dressing Diddy like a pimp at 4 years old? Or how about the fact that she was throwing her own freak-offs at home while 12-year-old Diddy was out clubbing?
And he never knew this. I worked in the after-hour spot too. I made more money because the men thought I was very glamorous, and I used to pour liquor, and they'd give me big tips.
You said I would be 12 years old, and sometimes I'd be out until 3, 4 in the morning.
Get this, Janice was so possessive of Diddy that she sent him to an all-boys school because she wanted to be the only woman in his life.
She made sure there were no girls around, and so I went to an all-boys school.
It was also a Catholic school.
Yes, a Catholic school. I was brought up in Catholic schools.
Let's be real, something disturbing probably went down between Janice and Diddy. Remember, there's a clip of them getting 4 drips together right after a freak-off.
This is gorgeous. Let me introduce you to my mom, called Mom Dukes.
Hi.
She's getting a drip with me. She's hydrating. What's up, Mom?
Everything's good, baby. I'm here with you.
Yeah.
I love you.
Love you too.
And now even more videos have resurfaced showing that besides being a deviant in the scammer, Janice Combs is also a raging drunk.
Why did he bring his drunk mom up there? Why did he mama drunk? Why he bringing it to the show? Nah.
The craziest part is that Mase warned everyone about all this years ago, and now the rest of the industry is finally catching up. So now Mase is finally preparing to sue Janice, not just for the publishing she stole, but for the decades of financial crimes and racketeering she helped cover up at Bad Boy. It's no secret that Mase had a very public fallout with Diddy over publishing, but now he's saying there were other people in Diddy's ear telling him what to do, and that includes his mother, Janice.
As much as I can have an issue with Puff, I have an issue with the people around him as well. Because I feel like it's the people around him that made it that bad. You get what?
So Mase has been quietly building a case ever since Kirk Burroughs filed his lawsuit, and apparently he's working with some of the same legal team that handled Burroughs' complaint. In his lawsuit, Kirk Burroughs accuses Janice of an elaborate and calculated scheme that she orchestrated in collusion with Diddy and lawyer Kenneth Mycelis. Burroughs claims Janice illegally seized 25% of his ownership interest in Bad Boy Entertainment Holding and his 15% share of Bad Boy Entertainment's annual earnings. Burroughs also accuses Janice of engaging in a decade-long scheme of intimidation, violence, fraudulent misrepresentation, and financial concealment. Now Janice Combs never talked about this publicly, but she was deeply involved in every aspect of Bad Boy Entertainment. Kirk Burroughs actually said in his lawsuit that Janice would have strategy sessions, attend meetings together with other label executives, and Kirk would provide her with daily updates concerning artist travel, sample clearances, budgeting, etc. Burroughs also says that Janice carefully maintained a facade of integrity, portraying herself as an innocent bystander while orchestrating his financial and professional downfall behind the scenes. All right, now, let's circle back to Mase. He was also targeted by Janice, but unlike Kirk Burroughs, he didn't stick around for years. He bounced. As soon as he realized what Janice and Diddy were up to, and here's how it went down, what pushed Mase over the edge was seeing Janice's name pop up on royalty statements, and he realized Janice has been collecting off artists who have been out of their deals for over a decade. You can see here it says Janice Smalls, which is her maiden name, so now we're hearing that Mase's team is gathering sworn statements from other former Bad Boy artists, including Freddie P. Chopper and a few who haven't spoken publicly yet, and his plan is to show a clear pattern of publishing theft, intimidation, forged signatures, and other fraudulent behavior, and get this one insider spilled that Mase is trying to get the feds to add Janice as a co-conspirator in the RICO case against Diddy. Mase specifically backed Kirk Burrows' claims that Janice and Diddy engaged in a decadecile-long scheme of fraudulent concealment, but besides Kirk Burrows, Mase is also linking up with other former Bad Boy artists who accused Janice of stealing from them, including former Dean members Freddie P. and Chopper. Both Freddie and Chopper are working with Mase behind the scenes, preparing to submit sworn statements to support his case. And here's why Freddie believes Janice is responsible for creating a monster and turning her son into a deviant. During his interview with The Art of Dialogue, Freddie was asked how he feels about Janice defending Diddy, and Freddie said the only reason she's doing that is because she knows everything Diddy is accused of started with her.
You heard about how Diddy mom came out defending him? She made a comment saying that Diddy is not a monster.
Yeah, he not a monster. She is. But I don't want to go down. But she is. She's the monster. Everything in her name. She's the.
Freddie took it a step further, calling Janice satanic and saying she's a real-life devil.
Satanic behind all this shit. It's her. It's her, bro. It's her. She is his. Like, I can't even explain it, bro. She just ain't no. She the devil, bro. That's how I see it. She the devil. Janice Combs is the devil. That guy.
Freddie explained how he was robbed of his publishing, and Janice was the mastermind behind that scheme.
But how did she take your money?
Well, man, you know how much money we lost just can't go back and get because statute of limitations? They got so many backed up checks. Like, dog, Lloyd told us that if y'all had sued them in enough time, y'all would have won well over $10 million. That's how much they got away with. So I look at her like, nigga, God forgive me, dog. God know I'm trying to get past this, but man, you die, I'm celebrating. I'm probably gonna get me a blunt, go get me some fucking, you know what I mean? Go chill, watch me a movie, and just, I be hoping that, I don't like her. I don't like nothing about that lady, man.
And according to Freddie, Janice defending Diddy is the same as R. Kelly defending him.
Yeah, you go out there and tell me. Seeing her defend Diddy, like, sit your ass down. You the worst person. You the wrong one. So you got somebody that you like. That's like R. Kelly coming to talk it up for you. Like, nigga, shut up. We don't need you. No, Diddy innocent. Man, shut up, Kelly. Not right now. That's her. Shut your ass up. You the reason the man like you.
Now we'll get into why Freddie compared Janice to R. Kelly of all people, but let's first talk about how Chopper also got scammed by Janice. So Chopper also recently sat down with The Art of Dialogue and revealed that his publishing is still in Janice's name.
I would definitely say so, because even with the publishing and everything, you dig, when I was trying to get my publishing from Bad Boy, bruh, it was in her name. Janice Combs, I think. Everything was in her name. And so you heard me? So you really couldn't get nothing. I couldn't get nothing. And they had some fire lawyers, bro. You did, yeah. I would say Puff Mama really run the show. My opinion.
Now let's talk about how Freddie B compared Janice to R. Kelly and said she was the devil. Now, if this was just about stolen publishing, why drop a name like R. Kelly or call Janice satanic? It sounds like Freddie was trying to say something way darker without spelling it out. And when you look at how Janice was raising Diddy, it starts to make sense. This woman was throwing her own freak-offs in the house while Diddy was still in school, and instead of protecting him, she was teaching him how to move like that. And now an old interview that was scrubbed from the internet for years just resurfaced, and it might be one of the most disturbing receipts yet. On an episode of Inside the Actors Studio, Janice admitted she used to work at an after-hours spot where men tipped her well, supposedly just because she looked glamorous.
Amazing. What were the primary jobs that you did? to support your family?
I did so many jobs at one time. I worked at the United Cerebral Palsy. I worked at the Board of Ed in Westchester County. I drive the school bus. I worked in a baby's boutique shop. And he never knew this. I worked in the after-hour spot, too. I had to come clean. I needed to come clean. I made more money because the men thought I was very glamorous, and I used to pour liquor, and they'd give me big tips.
But it's what Diddy said next that's even wilder. When asked what he was doing while Janice was working those late-night shifts, Diddy said he was out in the streets in the middle of the night at 12 years old.
And sometimes I'd be out until 3, 4 in the morning, seeing the music.
Yeah.
Seeing the music?
Yeah, this is the time of the 80s and just everybody driving by in their Suzuki Jeeps and BMWs and the music blasting out of systems and being in front of Willie Burgers on 145th and 8th or being at the rooftop. It was like a movie. You could actually see the music. The music came to life. It wasn't just something you were hearing.
And then when the host James Lipton asked Janice if she knew Diddy was out at 4 a.m. at 12 years old, Janice claimed she didn't because she supposedly left him with her relatives and trusted them to take care of him.
Aware of his nighttime skirmishes?
James, we don't have to get into that right now.
There are no secrets on this stage. There are no secrets on this stage. Ma'am?
Got a lot of beatings, too. But he was with some relatives of mine.
I see.
When he was out, so I didn't know that they kept him out that late. I'm learning about it now.
Now about Janice's employment history, let's just say the stories never added up depending on the interview. She was everything from a teacher to a bus driver to a casino worker. Even Diddy's Wikipedia claims she used to be a model back in the day. However, there's zero evidence of Janice doing any legit modeling work. What is floating around though are receipts that Janice was actually running fashion shows as a front and using them to connect young girls with older businessmen. However, the whole operation allegedly blew up when one of those men did something unspeakable to one of the girls, and just like that, the whole thing got buried. There were no charges, no press, and no pressure on Janice to reveal what happened, and apparently that's because Janice's late husband Melvin Combs had deep ties to law enforcement as an informant, and that was enough to make the whole mess disappear. But this next part is somehow even creepier. According to Diddy's childhood friend Tim Patterson, Janice used to throw freak-off parties at her house when Diddy was still in elementary school. According to Tim, Janice would invite shady figures from her Harlem days, and Diddy would regularly see adults walking around his house with no clothes on and getting high. Tim also explained how Diddy's obsession with wild partying and the whole freak-off concept was inherited from his mom. Tim said because Sean had no dad, all he had was his mom. Sean's house, our house, there was always things going on the weekend. We did that a lot. He was around all type of alcohol. He was around reefer smoke. He was around drug addicts, around lesbians, around homosexuals. He was around pimps and pushers. That was just who was in our house. And then another former neighbor confirmed this in an interview with the Daily Mail and said, I remember there were a lot of cars on the street and people coming and going and music until late. I never went, but I heard they were wild parties. So you can imagine fans are now saying Mase suing Janice for stealing isn't enough, and they think she should be thrown in jail with Diddy for exposing him to all this sickness at a young age. But let's talk about the elephant in the room, because people have been side-eyeing the relationship between Diddy and his mother for a long time. So by now you all probably saw that infamous video where Diddy and Janice are side by side getting 4 drops allegedly after one of Diddy's freak-offs. And then there was that creepy moment where they kiss each other on the lips. And then Diddy starts talking about how his mom is flexible and can touch her toes.
Mom, freshly dipped though.
Did y'all peep that? The mother has on white nail polish, just like Kari should be wearing white nail polish. If you remember, in the lawsuit, Cassie said that Diddy forced the women around him to wear white nail polish because it looked good during the freak-offs. So it's very interesting that his mother is wearing the same white nail polish.
Yeah, for real. Mom do know how to have a good time. Cause I ain't sitting in the house playing. Outside moving and shaking, baby. She come with me to strip club, I don't care. Real. It's my dog, you know, I wanna live life. Be out here moving and grooving. My mom told me, she just said, keep moving, baby.
That's right.
Keep moving. She
don't stop.
She could touch the floor with her palms. You know? Flat.
But see, there's another video that just resurfaced, and it's even more disturbing than this. So, in the shower black and white video, Janice is seen dancing on Diddy, and not some cute mother-son dance. Either she's literally backing it up on him like it's a club, but if you really pay attention, it looks like Diddy's actually got his hands on her hip. So this whole situation with Mase going after Janice isn't just about royalties anymore, because let's be real, if Janice really wasn't involved, how do you explain her name showing up on old publishing checks from artists who haven't touched Bad Boy in decades? How do you explain her front row seat to the chaos without ever taking a hit? And how do you explain that video backing it up on her own son? But if Mase is collecting sworn statements and if RICO lawyers are now involved, then we're not talking about lawsuits anymore. We're talking about something bigger, like a family-wide federal charge. And you know what else resurfaced this week? That sealed 1971 incident involving Diddy's informant dad, Melvin Combs. And let's just say this could explain why Janice and Diddy got away with so much criminal activity for decades.